Welcome to Fact or Freestyle.
People love Dave Nourie, and they always answer the phone when he calls. When we get him on Zoom, we ask him to confirm rumors.
Let's see how far down the rabbit hole we go.
You do ramps, you could do flatland, and we do downhill road riding, Los Gatos. We'd all come out, like 10 of us, and some of them flipped their bikes upside down, but we would just go like 30, 40 miles an hour on BMX bikes, a 9-mile road trip downhill. You'd see cars implanted in trees. Hugo was always up front. Hugo could not be beaten in anything that we did, from flats to ramps. He was just the man. And I think he was underrated in the ramps, because ramps were more half pipe, quarter pipes, but he could do it all. He was the bomb. And I still look up to Hugo today. He's just the man. Great friend. Do anything for anybody. Most humble man I've ever met, and the raddest.
But he doesn't do Zoom. But he doesn't do Zoom.
You know, and that's fine. But he's very private. But back then he had a quarter pipe in front of his house. Ron Wilkerson shows up. Ron Wilkerson would just show up for like anything, like very first Freestyle magazine. I didn't invite Ron. He never hung out with us. I love Ron, but he just shows up. When I had Bob Osborne to go to the park, Golden Gate Park, that's for the very first Freestyle magazine. Bob went there to shoot me, and I said, "You have to come to Golden Gate Park because all my friends are waiting." And Bob's like, "No, I got pictures of you, Rick. We're good. My girlfriend and I are going to go party around in San Francisco." I go, "No, my friends know you're coming." Somehow Ron heard. He gets cover. Ron shows up at Hugo Gonzalez's house, gets like an 8-foot error, and then he flat bottoms and breaks the head tube off his bike. Snap. He used to just destroy bikes because he was never consistent on smooth like Brian Blather until years later. Ron used to just get air, style, crash or crack his bikes, or crank arm would fall off. And it took him a long time to get smooth, but he just wanted that photo, man. He wanted that. He knew what he wanted. He wanted fame, and he went for it.
Interesting story. So
he knew how to get. He's a
he works it.
Mouth posing cover stealer.
He's like a male model, supermodel, but with a bicycle in front. He's like, and it looked great in photos, And then he got better later. He got consistent and better later, and became the all-around rider like he was. But when I first met Ron, he was the scariest rider on ramps. He just was.
Well, he was scary to watch all through tour.
He's always been scary. Yeah.
Yeah, he would go, and he's like, in the show, he would say, I'm gonna learn no-handers, like no-handers. This is probably 86 or so. So no-handers were starting to come out, and there was only a few riders really doing it. And we're like, okay, Ron, and he had elbow pads on, and like in the middle of the show, goes for a no-hander, just slams like so hard.
Yeah.
And Brian and I would just like hold our breath, and the crowd was silent. And the announcer's like, "Oh, it's okay. He's got good thing you got air safety gear on." And we're still like, dude,
back then weren't so good.
They can only do so much. And then every time Ron would stand up, and this is what he would do. He'd stand up and he would put his thumb up in the air like this. And then we do, and like his shoulder would be like jacked, and he'd be like, "I got my thumb up in the air." And we're like, okay. And the show continued. And he would go after it, So I think that's just kind of Ron's style for sure.
I got really good on ramps, and I get like 9 feet air in Germany. I was getting like maybe 7, 8 feet at SeaWorld in San Diego for like the intensity games. When there were city streets, I was getting like 4 or 5. That was the early 80s. But Rick Coronado helped teach me in Germany how to ride better, half pipes, how to pump down, how to pump up. I didn't know you could pump both ways, and that's when my airs got better. But I get candy bar air. I do 1-footers, 1-handers. That's no footer, cans, little stuff. Never tried no-hander. Never tried 1-hand, 1-footer, same side. I just get high. The audience was appreciative of that, and I do the Vanderroll to finish it, and a skirt tuck at the bottom of the ramp. I'm done. Woo. So I was the worst rider on ramps at SeaWorld, but I was riding with pro riders of the day, and they all taught me how to ride better. Chris Potts helped teach me when I was at SeaWorld how to get higher too. He was a good mentor, good friend. Yeah, Rick Coronado though, underrated rider, really good guy. And in Germany, we spent a year. Pat Anderson was another one, a really good flatlander. And the 3 of us did shows 7 days a week for a year. So when I came back from '89 from Germany, I missed part of that scene, the contest that year. I came back hot. I got 3rd overall in the world in Germany. I had like 2nd ground and like 3rd on ramps. And I broke both my wrists in that contest. I did a cherry picker drop and hung up first trick, and broke both wrists, but they let me start over, and I ended up getting 3rd, 2nd overall for the worlds there. And then shortly
Wait a second.
after,
Wait a second. You restarted your run with two broken
With broken wrists.
I didn't know they were broken. I know they hurt. They hurt really bad.
Of
And
course.
as I waited
Wow.
longer, they kept swelling. And I'm like, I better start my other. They made me wait like a couple more riders before it started. I put ice on. I better go now, or I won't be able to ride. And then I did the cherry picker. I did the cherry picker drop in on a smaller ramp, and I pulled it. And then I was getting like 8-foot airs on an 8-foot ramp.
You had two broken wrists, and you were doing 8-foot airs. That is something.
This is the gladiator days, man. This is when men were men.
That's when they were 5-minute runs. 5-minute runs, man. And you had to do flatland run 5 minutes and a ramp run 5 minutes long. That ramp's 3 minutes on the ramp. I was done. I was spaghetti arms.
Yeah, that's burly.
Hey Rick, what's the highest Vanderbilt drop in? Because you've always been, I learned the Vanderbilt from you, and then I rode coaster brakes, so I did it differently. Like I did it like Vanderspec because I could lock my coaster.
Yeah.
But I
love
doing it off ledges, because when I did it off ledges, you can just drop and it's just super smooth. And I've done some pretty high ones even recently. But what's your highest?
I've done some when I was pretty high, Dave. So just a joke. But
yeah, you've done it high.
I've done some when I was pretty high, and that's a mistake. Ooh, you just cut your legs up. You can't. You see two bikes.
The answer should be, what's it take to beat Dave?
What the height is? I did it off a van.
You did it off a van.
Yeah, a GT van, and I free felled and I pulled it. So van's like 7 feet tall or something.
Yeah,
That's scary.
Yeah, because you can over rotate that. But to bring it back to normal, I was doing a show and it was in some California park. It was like a revival, like a bike show, whatever. Anyways, I did it off a wedge ramp. It was only like 4 feet. I over rotated and I broke my front brake and the brake cable and hit my jaw. And that was just 4 feet. So this is years later. This was like maybe years ago. So I do them off of ledges that are thin, which you can grab on each side of the ledge. It's kind of scary. So, and they're about maybe 3.5 foot tall is my favorite. Picnic table height is still my favorite. I don't go much higher anymore because it's memory retention. I can just do the flip and I know I'm going to make it.
Yeah. Cool.
So, but the highest I did was a van. So if you want to go off a van, I wouldn't recommend it at our age now. I did it when I was pretty young. I was probably 24 when I did that. I wouldn't do that today. What was your highest, Dave?
I probably
real or staged.
Yeah, I did one stage that was like 10 feet.
Oh my gosh.
What stage mean?
Well, I just I was in Indianapolis and I was doing this Sunday ride with Bill Nitschke, and then Bill had to leave. So then I did a little video and the guys are like, hey, why don't you van roll off this ledge? Why don't you do this? So we started off at like 3 feet. Then I did a loading dock. A loading dock is pretty good. It's like 5. And you do have to like balance it just right. So you drop and you're not like both wheels at the same time. You kind of try to do back wheel first. Then there was a ledge and it was a skinny ledge and it was like 10, 11 feet. And I got up there. I wasn't going to do it though. And I got my bike in position. And then we took another picture of me on the ground, like just like all crashed. And I sent it off and they said, oh yeah, Dave, he's not doing so well. He had to drive back to Chicago, but Bill didn't buy it. He knows me too well now.
Yeah, you would have had a video if you would have done it. There's some pictures like I did the Peterson. Everyone was doing the Peterson lately, like because Robert Peterson did a video, and everyone's trying to do that thing where your legs are up. And I just was on the tire. I jumped up. I did it one hand. I grabbed my visor, and I just jumped back to the ground. And I posted after I did it. I go, I didn't pull it. I just did it to be a part of the Peterson thing. Peterson does better than I do. And,
well, Joe, maybe Joe needs to chime in on that. So, what does it feel like to post something, Joe, that you actually haven't pulled? Like, what is that?
Joe.
Like? What is that like?
Is that like a
Maybe you need to show. Can you show Rick the clip just so that he can see it, Joe? Just because I know we've already hashed this. You've had your mentor. You've had the guy Jason Rideout. James was on. He says,
"Great,
yeah, you got to write out." Scott Powell said, "No, it does count, even though you didn't write out." But Marty Cooper said, "No, doesn't count. You didn't write out." So, can you share the Rick?
Yes, I will.
Okay. Maybe he doesn't feel. Maybe I put him on.
No. It's no. Look, this we are here to to put dudes on the spot, and I am.
Rick just
not
openly
be
admitted,
immune to it.
like he just puts it on there. He he just jumped up, grabbed his visor, he didn't pull it.
All
So
right.
all
right, so
it
here we
happens,
go.
Joe. There's other amongst you, I guess, that that do this.
If that's like a one-time thing.
Okay.
This wasn't done?
So you guys remember
one counts.
this photo?
counts.
Okay,
Yeah.
this counts. In James,
Yeah.
James says this one counts. Now this was
No,
from
reason being, I talked to
2015.
this dude, and he flat out said the G forces on that were so intense it just
Watch.
blew him off his bike. You couldn't even hold on. Like
All right.
that is the craziest gnarly shit. The fact that
Right.
he even did that, held on to the bottom, is psychotic.
Oh, I see. So
Okay.
he wrecked. So yeah,
So he wrecked.
I count that as doing it. Fuck yeah.
Okay, watch this.
Not count.
Whoa. That doesn't count?
No, because he's not going to write out.
Oh. But that he did it was amazing.
Yeah, see, that don't count. That's like my basketball thing.
I
you
still
know?
think that was amazing.
When I do the basketball stuff, if I don't pull the trick, it doesn't matter that I made the basketball shot.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's a fucking basketball shot.
Look at that
I
picture
caught
right there.
this. I caught this on the rebound. If you watch that, watch. The tire hits, bounces up. I catch it on the rebound.
Right, but you can do one of the hardest tricks ever done, but then you don't write out of it, a simple write up.
All right, well, watch. See, look at my crank. My crank is up against my right ankle, and I try to fix it. I try to kick it. Look, I hit it with my hand.
What I call safety. You have to train the safety. So you have a backup plan for a ride out when you can't achieve the one you want.
Okay, this is my 2 cents.
I was too excited. Okay,
I've had a lot of tricks where, and it's hot here. It's like 110 right now, and I'll almost pull it. I'm like, it's good enough at my age, and then my ego kicks in. I'm like, nah, I gotta pull it. And just something like a backwards infinity roll, and I'll the switch back to going back to like a swivel. I'll fall like every time, like 20 times, and I'll be like, that's it. I'm just gonna post it. Like my ego goes, no, you can't post it, and I have to go out until I fucking finish that trick. And not touch, and that's my bad.
But for Joe, it doesn't count.
Well,
so I feel like to pull the trick, I have to pull the trick, but what you did was incredible. That was wow.
So this one, I'm glad that I'm finally sharing it with more people. I think I told Ephraim, Todd, James, John, and the local guys, but that was it. And it's bothered me since 2016. And now I was just talking with Scott Hegnes earlier today about I'm going to lose a bunch of weight to take stress off my knees to retrain it again. Because I lost 20 pounds to learn that trick.
Sorry, Joe. I know I'm not supposed to leave the
trick is
show,
unbelievable.
but
Hey, when I relearned rubber rides after not riding for 10 years, I had to lose 20 pounds. That's what started me running. I couldn't get over my belly to jump up onto the handlebars. That's a true story.
It's also the bikes have changed because the stems are sitting higher, the handlebars are taller, because we used to run 7-inch handlebars, now we're running 8. So the distance between you and the seat is a lot further for the setup. And I've had that problem too. And I actually raise my seat when I do backwards bar rides because my fat belly won't lean over.
Well, it helps to have the seat going backwards is easier than forward, as we know, because you can hold on a seat, you can put your feet up on the handlebars, and you can just go up real slow. So I think backwards are easier. Forwards, you just jump up and it's like, woo, grab your nuts and hope you make it,
I hate riding out of forwards these days. That's the one thing
I broke my arm and cracked 3 ribs like 3 years ago. I fell into the bike. And it gets harder as we get older. When I pull a rubber right now, just like 10 feet, I'm like, yes, woo, score. I'm good.
Yep. I love bar rides, but I'll never do one in a contest again. Right, Joe?
Right.
That would be my opening trick. That would be my opening trick, I swear. Forward or backwards or both.
So let me ask you guys a question, a little bit of a different subject. If Dave or I were on vacation and we still wanted to do the show, who do you think would be the ideal guest co-host.
For the show?
Yeah, so you know, like when Conan goes on, or when he used to go on vacation, or when Johnny Carson would go on vacation.
Huh.
Radical Rick.
Rick would be great. Absolutely.
He's
gotta
always
have-
laughing.
The history. You got to have somebody with a background.
Kevin Jones.
Kevin
Yeah,
Jones.
Who
Kevin
speaks in
Jones.
public.
Yeah, right. We haven't seen him for what, 30 years?
That's why you need him.
Wait.
All these stories he'd have to
That's true.
tell. You know, I
Yeah.
met him in Florida, like in '87. He goes, "I got these tricks, Rick. I want to show you." And he showed me like I can't name the names of them, but some of the rolling tricks. And he did like 3 of them out in the parking lot. He almost pulled them, and I go, "What? Why should I even be pro anymore?" He went to contest and didn't pull them, but close. And then like a year later, he was pulling them every time. You know?
Oh, the thing is, R.L. Osborne, we know he can talk for 20 minutes about a brake cable. So pretty
There's going to be no dead air.
still your shoes.
You know, Wendy Osborne would be really fun to like get her perspective as a guest even.
Yeah, she was definitely part of the elite liberal BMX
Joe, are you-
media.
Are you planning on going on vacation? I thought you were dedicated to the show, and you know, like we've been doing it every week.
Oh, yeah, I am. I mean,
You know what? Just let RL take over. Dave and RL can handle it from here.
well, Dave, I mean, how's the house? How's the house coming?
With the schoolhouse.
Wait, one
Yeah,
more
the
person.
schoolhouse
Woody
that they're
Itzen.
building.
Woody
Woody
Itzen.
Itzen.
Oh,
Woody's
Woody,
amazing.
great.
Woody would be phenomenal.
Woody Itzen. I think
Yeah.
that would be great with Woody Itzen.
Woody would probably do it.
You know, if you're talking about when I'm going on vacation, because I'm not planning on going on vacation. Like if I'm like I was in Ohio, I went to surprise Joe in Ohio. We
That
did the
was very
show.
nice.
I did the
That was
show.
very nice.
Well, you know, so I'm committed. It just don't get Gary Laurent, because Gary Laurent. You know what happened when he filled in at SeaWorld? He filled in for and
It's stuck.
Mr. Nourie was out there having to deliver Domino's pizza. I mean, that's what it came down to.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, you know? Oh, because Rick was there too then. You don't know that?
Right. I don't know
Yeah.
what story you're talking about. I was there riding with you guys.
Well, so Gary Laurent, did we lose that episode? Did you actually?
No, I did not lose that particular episode. I'm in the middle of editing it right
So
now.
that one that he talked about, because he basically was very
Apologetic.
very
He was-
apologetic, saying,
Yes.
look, they wanted me to come back and I stole your job, Dave, and I feel bad about it.
Oh, is that when I went to Germany? I went to Germany '89. I was working SeaWorld till then.
Yeah, it was 89.
87. Yeah.
It was 89.
Oh, okay.
And that's when I lost, you know, Horror sponsor dried up. But Joe, I'm committed. So you're asking me about the house that I'm building? Yeah, no, I'm building the house, and you know, I sold the house, or I'm selling the house, and I'm busy. But where are you going with this?
Maybe
Well,
just
Well,
in case.
busy
I
to be
mean-
dedicated to the cause.
I mean, don't we need an apprentice, someone sitting in the wings in case, like, we need a succession plan? Do you think?
I'm a social media whore, so if you need help, you can always call me. I'm so full of this. I'll share it with everybody.
I'm
My
very shy
stories.
introvert,
Yeah.
so I'm not really good at this stuff.
Both of you are introverts.
I'm an extrovert,
All right. Well,
but you
I
know.
mean, Dave, what do you, I mean, you should be able to choose, right?
Well,
Oh,
something you guys can talk about off air. If you need me and my help at all, you just let me know.
Well, I like your recommendation. Are you giving me? Is this digging me a little bit on the air, Joe? Because I feel
I'm
like
not digging. I'm not
no,
digging.
because wait, just let me give you a little backstory, guys. So Joe, generally I invite, you know, our whole intro is like everyone loves Dave Nourie and they pick up the call, and so I've been getting the guests, you know, and it's like I have, you know, I just have some people that I've known for years and they're happy to be a part of it, and it's great. And then one time Joe invited a couple people, and I gave him a little bit of a hard time because the text was it was terrible, Joe. It was like, you said, it would be great if you could make the time.
No, I said, would you guys be down? And
Would you be
And I-
down?
And it was in the
All
middle of the workday. So I am not, sometimes I'm late with episodes and sometimes I mess up the invitation.
And so
When I say sometimes, I have a 100% failure rate.
we didn't get that. So we're going to work on that.
invitations.
We're going to work on how to invite the guests. You got to really like talk about how thrilled we'd have them to be on the show. Yada, yada, yada. And then
No one needs a fake identity though, because nobody wants to get caught up with footprints in the spam after they see what
I
happened.
know
to
it's like tainted. And that's kind of what,
Nobody wants to DM with me.
yeah. And that's the thing. It's like,
Hey, everybody, thanks for tuning in. We did kind of a tight 20 on this one, but check it out. We're going to be doing more of these smaller episodes, and we're going to be mixing in all the different conversations from all the guys. We're going to be mixing it up like the timeline. All right. Stay tuned for more Rick Allison, James McGraw at some point, randomly in the future. Tell us what you like.